You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, pet parents. This is Michelle Fern, host of Best Bets for Pets. Okay, this product is so cool. It's one of those things where you think, oh, why didn't I think of that? That is such a great idea. And it's for everyone who has a pet that drinks. What are you talking about, right? You're probably thinking, stay tuned. You won't want to miss this.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Nature at its best is nature at its simplest. At Red Barn, we've kept it simple for 20 years by concentrating on single-ingredient natural dog treats. Because Mother Nature's actually pretty good at this. Bones are just tasty bones. Meat treats are just nourishing meat. It's nature at its simplest. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Natural Treats. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Try our slow-roasted, natural meaty bones.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I would like to introduce Kim Goldsworthy. She's from the company Heyrex, and they have a very unique product called TORUS. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Now, you're on the other end of the world in New Zealand, correct?
Yes, I am. The land of the Hobbit and the land of Lord, the musician.
Well, I've actually had a small pit stop. Sorry, I couldn't stay longer. On my way to Australia, I had some time to spend in New Zealand and had a brief glimpse of your beautiful country. So, very exciting to talk to you. And, well, our show reaches everywhere, so that's always great.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well, thank you for coming on. Now, for everybody that's listening, I had such a quirky intro. They're probably thinking, what is TORUS? Now, first of all, let's talk about the main company's Heyrex. It's Heyrex.
Imagine you're calling a dog, "Hey, Rex."
Well, I figured, that's probably where it comes from. That's really cool. I love that name. And your product, the TORUS, I keep thinking of the fur team is the Dennis. He likes the in front of it. So he thinks he's super special. So I think the TORUS is super special, even though it's really just called TORUS. Now, it's a water storage drinking vessel. And
yes, it is.
It's for dogs and cats. But tell us about it.
Absolutely. Torus is Latin for hollow circular ring. So if you imagine a donut that you eat, the whole of the donut is where the water automatically dispenses into. And the actual donut that you eat is what we call the reservoir walls, and that's where the water's stored. It stores up to 2 litres of water. We know that pets' hydration is very, very important for their health, just as it is for us. So having that much water in there basically means, one, as a pet parent, we don't have to keep refilling the bowl or rely on someone else. 2, because it's stored, it doesn't reach any air particles or dust particles, and it actually automatically dispenses without a power source or without batteries, which I think is fantastic. As it dispenses, it goes through a filter. So it removes any impurities that might be in your municipal water. It automatically feeds into the well, remember the donut, and as the pet drinks it, it continues to refill. So it has this flowing process. We get lots of people email us in saying that the pets think it's a game, so they're drinking more water all the time. We've just introduced a 1 litre bowl, which is perfect for cats and smaller dogs. And it's actually oval because the whiskers of cats, as I'm sure you know, they don't like their whiskers touching anything. So that's just been released on Amazon, actually. And it comes in the amazing colour Candy Floss Pink.
Well, that's a great explanation, Kim, of the TORUS. I love the idea and I loved trying it out because I have water bowls at home, and my significant other, he always is refilling. And I noticed that it does get gunky and there's hair in it. And
Great.
sometimes there's things you don't know unless you really look close that, they just get in the bowl. And they do drink a lot. He was so panicked when my significant other, when we were traveling, he bought some kind of other contraption, this gallon contraption thing. But again, it just keeps the water sitting in the bowl and stuff gets in it.
Correct. And the TORUS bowl's actually been designed with little grips on the bottom. And it's designed in sort of like a thermos. It's plastic material, BPA approved. And what that means is the water actually stays cool. It doesn't cool the water, but it stays cool. And it also means in busy houses or when you're on the go, there's often a lot of mess. So because of its design, there's also no mess, which is another pain point we know for all pet parents.
Oh, yes. Minimizing mess is always a good thing because we get it even when we try to minimize, especially if you have a long-haired dog like Mr. Z. We have shed time now, even though we're going through, quote, winter, even though in South Florida it's not winter. And I know where you are, the seasons are opposite, so you have summer now. Okay, I'm sure everyone that's listening is wondering how it actually works. How does the TORUS know when to resume refill? Is it a certain level in the bowl? Once it drops past like a quarter inch, an inch, it'll replenish? How does that work?
So it basically, yes, it does. It works on gravity, and I can't go into the detail too much because it's heavily patented, but it does work on gravity, and it does understand exactly how low the water is in the actual well and just automatically replenishes it as it goes through.
Now, you also mentioned it keeps the water a little bit cooler.
Yes.
How does it do that?
It's just simply because of the materials that it's made from. If you imagine a thermos that you put your coffee or tea or hot drinks or also cold drinks, simply just because of the very high quality material that it's made from, it deters any form of heating. So you can leave it outside and it will maintain that level of coolness.
Now, I know that this is great for dogs and cats, and you have a specially designed TORUS just for cats. Do you think most cats, now the Dennis, our studio cat, he drinks out of the same bowls as Nikki and Mr. Z. He doesn't mind it, but he was raised with dogs, so he thinks he's part dog. Have you had any feedback from pet parents of cats that have said, I got this just to see if my cat would drink more and it's working? What is your feedback on that?
The feedback that we've had, to be perfectly honest, is just phenomenal. People don't realize all the functions that TORUS actually does and how it removes all those pain points in a pet parent's life. It's not until they actually get it and start using it that they realise the benefits. The larger bowl was originally designed for dogs, and we had pet parents emailing us and saying, well, my cat uses it, so you can't just say it's just for dogs. We also know that multiple pet families use the larger one as well, because at 2 litres of water, huge amount of water, but it's also very wide, so it means those whiskers don't touch. We've also had people email us saying they use it for their pigs and chickens.
Wow. Okay. I could see pigs, so there's a lot of like mini pigs and stuff, but for chickens, I'm sure they must have, a separate place in their garden for chickens, but maybe some people have them as little pets. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's because it's so sturdy and because of what it's made from. With the pecking, it doesn't create any indentations or make perhaps whatever else they were using inferior.
Is this sturdy enough that, some people have their fur kids in crates just because it's, they're used to it, they're crate trained, and they prefer that they're in the crate when they're not home. It's really the safety of the pet. Now, the TORUS water vessel, is it sturdy enough so that you can put it in a crate and it doesn't get tipped over or knocked over?
Absolutely. The design has been made to actually ensure that those busy homes or boisterous pets or whatever, it actually doesn't tip over. It's actually very, very hard for a pet to tip it over. We've had one comment, I think, in the hundreds of thousands where obviously a very strong dog was able to get its teeth around the outside and lift it, but very unusual. It is used quite often in when pets are in crates, especially if they're on any form of medication or need to be in a crate for a medical reason, simply because the water is there for them to continue to drink. It's very clean. A lot of medications need increased hydration. This particular bowl actually has a lock function. So you can turn it to the lock function. And in the videos, I literally lift it over my head and no water comes out because the water is obviously in the reservoir wall. So you can take this bowl anywhere you like. And in fact, we've had reviewers from people who use RVs and on boats where this particular bowl is perfect because it can be on automatically dispense while the RV is in motion or the boat is in motion, and the pet can continue to get its regular water without any spills or mess. So absolutely portable, absolutely usable on automatically dispense in a moving vehicle or boat.
I love the idea. I think it works great. I think it's very user-friendly. I love the fact that it can be used in areas where, you have a confined pet. I know tools that people use, those upside down hanging contraptions so the dogs will lick and the water comes out. But some dogs just don't like that. And this is more like what they're used to, a bowl with water. I definitely see so many positives with the TORUS. And I also think that it also may be very helpful for those finicky dogs and cats that don't drink water if there's anything in the water. Sometimes as the day goes on, there might be hair or something could just float in it, It just happens. I don't know. There's just things in the air. Something could float or it could be their own hair that's in the bowl and they won't drink from it. There's one of the studio dogs is so picky that if it's not completely cleaned, that he won't drink from it. And this I could see as being cleaned because it's constantly the water coming and refreshing. So just so many benefits. Now, where can people find the TORUS bowl?
So TORUS, both the 1 litre and 2 litre and the replacement filters are available from Amazon.
And we didn't quite talk about the filters. How does that work?
So each bowl comes with a carbon filter, and as the water goes through the carbon filter, it removes the impurities. They come in one filter lasts about a month, so they come in replacement packs of 5. So between your new bowl and 5 replacement pack, you've basically got half a year's worth of lovely, fresh, clean filtered water.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it's available on Amazon, which everybody knows Amazon.
We are hoping to, and we are working with a number of premium pet retail stores. So hopefully I'll have some news for you soon on that front.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Okay, Kim, I know that the pets probably are not interested in this, but I'm sure pet parents are. You had mentioned a little bit about there's a pink color, but are there other colors, sizes? Is there a warranty on the product?
Absolutely. There's a 12-month warranty on the product. We stand by it 100%. So, while it is an expensive bowl, it is a premium end product, and it does come with that to ensure that you're guaranteed you're getting the best product for your pet. In terms of colours, yes, it does come in a multitude of colours: charcoal, blue and red. And when we introduced the 1 litre bowl earlier this year, I actually did a social media competition and asked everybody what colour they want, and pink was the one that just kept coming up. So we've released the 1 litre bowl in pink.
I love it. I love that there's all the choices because our fur babies don't really care, but us as pet parents, of course, do,
Absolutely. Mine has to match my kitchen.
Yeah, match the kitchen, match the decor, and have something cute for the traveling pet. Why not?
Yes.
Okay, is there a website where people can take a look at the bowl and see more about how it works?
There absolutely is. Heyrex.com/en/TORUS. But you can also Google it on YouTube. There's lots and lots of videos about the product, and you can effectively just Google TORUS water bowls. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. So we love getting pictures of TORUS water bowls with their new pets, and we circulate them all the time.
Okay, sounds wonderful. And as always, everyone listening knows they can go to PetLifeRadio.com, go to Best Bets for Pets, and there'll be a link to the TORUS water vessel. That was such a fun interview. Kim, thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets. And listeners, as always, there will be, for this segment of the episode, there'll be a link to the product, and there will also be information about the product and a picture, so you can find out more. It is a really cool product, and our pets need water all the time. So this is just very cool. I love that it's so travel friendly too. So check out more by going to Pet Life Radio, go to Best Bets for Pets, and there'll be information on the episode page for this segment. Stay tuned. We'll be back with another great product.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back, right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up in iHeartRadio Talk and iTunes. Let's Talk Pets. Live and on demand only from Pet Life Radio. Let's Talk Pets.
Let's Talk Pets.
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, for all you dog parents out there, how do you keep your fur kid occupied? This is always a big challenge. I'd like to introduce Lars Lund. He is the sales director for the Americas at Kruuse. Welcome, Lars.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for being on board here.
So, Kruuse has a new product in the Buster line, which is an activity mat.
Yes, that's correct, Michelle.
So, for people listening, I'm sure they could conjure up some kind of an idea about what an activity mat is for kids. But for dogs, it's a little unusual. What is the activity mat?
The ActivityMat is a completely new product in a new category of product which probably not been seen before. It's a mat which is sort of like 3 by 2 foot in size and has some metal studs, 7x5 equidistant. And then in these metal studs we can plug in different tasks. There are 12 different tasks available, which can be an envelope, a water lily, a cone cloth, different types of tasks. The reason that we have these different tasks is so that we can vary and challenge the game, so that, because the thing about dogs, what we found out is they very fast figure out a toy, and once they've figured it out, it's not so fun to play with it. So with this one here, we could change and challenge it and keep changing the game all the time.
Well, that's very true, especially when we're talking about how dogs figure things out. It's amazing how they'll know when they're going to the vet just by when they get in the car, certain things you take with them. And I know we're talking about something different with games, but they're smart. Dogs are pretty smart. So how did you come up with these games to challenge, dogs?
Yeah, Kruuse, the company behind the BUSTER ActivityMat, we've been in animal welfare for hundreds of years and have, so people, when they have a good idea, they contact us. And it was actually a Danish lady, Marianne, who had a 9-year-old miniature schnauzer called Ludwig, and he was solving all the puzzles she put in front of him. So she thought she would challenge him, and then she started sewing in cloth various different challenges, and then she would sort of put them into this mat that she had made and move them around, and that way she found that she could challenge him. And she made different levels of these ones, so each task had a different difficulty level, maybe like an envelope which can be opened, it can be closed, and it can be locked with a little wooden bar. So that was sort of like her solution to her challenge on her dog. And then she thought maybe other pet parents out there would have the same challenge as her. So she contacted us, since she in the past she knew we made other pet activity toys, and then we took the idea and we helped her develop it, and the final product was the BUSTER ActivityMat, which probably if people search on YouTube on BUSTER ActivityMat, they can see a video there and see the product in action to see how it works exactly.
Well, I tested it with Mr. Z and Nikki, and they had a lot of fun. They were pretty good at going through the tasks and, trying the new things and so forth. Would you say there's an age range that's good for using the ActivityMat, or is it good for dogs of just about any age, any type?
It is good for all dogs can use it, but obviously if it's a puppy, a very young puppy, it needs to understand what it is and that it is not a chew toy, yeah? So you need to gauge that by the pet owner, the pet parent and the dog will figure that out together. But if the dog gets too overexcited, it must be slowed down, or if the dog doesn't understand the game, then maybe you need to wait till it's a little older. But generally, all dogs should be able to use it. And
you designed the different activities. Do they have any sort of learning scale attached to the activities?
Yes. We have marked on each task if it's a level 1, level 2, or level 3, and some of the tasks have even 3 levels within the task. And this is good because this is a learning curve for the dog. Some of the dog races, which are natural hunters, they get it obviously faster than other races, but that's how you kind of stage it. And once they figure it out, you take it to level 2, and then eventually you take it to level 3. And then you probably should start out with 1 or 2 tasks on the mat. We have a starter set which comes with 3 tasks. We probably recommend that you would put on 2 tasks in the beginning, and then once it figures that out, you can put on the 3rd and then eventually a 4th, and then you can move them around and change the position they have on the mat.
I guess you can almost have bragging rights if, your fur kid's he's already, up to level 3 and doing, just about all the tasks. That's kind of what it reminds me of, is that it's on the same basis as just, I think of, school, passing different levels of understanding.
Yeah, we have a Kruuse university, but that's more towards the veterinarians that we teach there. But maybe we should do one for dogs as well. Yeah, a dog university where they could come in and take grades on this. It was not so much the thought we had but the thought was to make sure that we can keep on changing the game. And we have developed 12 tasks now that we have launched now, but we have another 12 tasks on the drawing board. So once that some dogs are able to go through all 12, get to level 12, then we can introduce the next 12, so we can constantly change the game.
So for everybody that's listening, we're talking about tasks and how the dogs, pass the tasks. Can you describe one of the tasks, what it looks like, the basics of it? Because, we're audio, everybody's listening, they're trying to get an idea in their mind, and we'll have, places where everyone who's listening, they can go to the website to see what it looks like. But can you talk about one of the more basic tasks that are easier to visualize so people have an idea of what we're talking about?
Certainly, Michelle, certainly. So one of the tasks that we have is we call the envelope. So it's basically a blue and red, nice color envelope, which has 4 buttons in that you can click into the mat, 1 in each corner. The size of the envelope is approximately 1/2 foot by 1 foot. It then opens up. So it has a big flap which opens up, and then you can leave it open like that and hide the treat or the kibble in the envelope. The idea is then that you encourage the dog to come over and search for the treat, and then it will, with its snout, get into the envelope and start eating out the treat. That is level 1 on that. Level 2 is then that we close the envelope. So instead of leaving it open, we close it. So it will then have to come over and either with its snout or with its paw, will have to open up the envelope and then repeat what it did in stage 1. The stage 3 on this thing is then that in the closing part of the envelope, we've made a little hole which fits into a little elastic band which sits on the other part, and in there we can put in a little stick. So that way we lock the envelope. So now the dog cannot open the envelope without removing the stick first. So that's the stage 3 of that task. So you have sort of like 3 games in one on that one.
Very well described, and I think people now have a better understanding because that was a great description of it. Now, if you have a pet, like I have one, Mr. Z is a little older. He's never been one to play with toys. He just wasn't. He's, Nikki, on the other hand, loves toys. But Mr. Z liked the Buster Mat. He did do pretty good on some of the activities that we tried, and I found that he had an interest in that. Now, why is that a dog might not be interested so much in toys and running and chasing, but this, they're interested in trying the activities?
That's an interesting question, Michelle. Dogs from nature, they are herd animals, and they sort of act together as they do in the herd. So when we now domesticated dogs, they will act as we do and follow us. So if we're pulling out this activity mat and the dog, and we are putting that on the floor and wanting to play with the dog will want to interact with us on that. And also there is the food element, depending on when you last time fed him. Maybe that's also a stimulus for him to want to be interested in playing with the mat. And that's actually what we sometimes also encourage, is maybe not to actually feed the kibble in the mat, some of it in the mat, so it doesn't get too many treats all the time. Otherwise it just gets counterproductive on the diet. Yeah. So the thing is, the dogs are actually, the dogs, they have a lot of energy. They need to burn a lot of energy, and dogs living in houses and flats, they probably don't get a chance to get rid of all that energy. And we can help with a game like this. Mentally, we actually can exhaust them more than by taking them for a 30-minute walk, because they from nature also, when they were hunting in groups, in herds, they also had to outsmart larger animals than themselves, and that also takes a lot of mental brain power, and dogs actually have one of the highest mental capabilities of wild animals, and that's what we actually can go in and start stimulating with a game like this, and that exhausts it and that burns energy, and that's good, because then you don't have that excess energy being sometimes expressed by when you're going for a walk and it's pulling the leash, or it's barking, or it's wanting to get into fights with other dogs and these things. So you actually can get rid of some of this energy and tire the dog, which is good for the dog. I don't know if that answered your question, Michelle.
No, that certainly does. And it also kind of answered my next question, in that I think, just from, my experience around dogs, just personal experience, that the more my dogs use their brain, the better they'll be. Kind of like people, as you get older, if you don't stimulate your brain, there's more likely for humans, for dementia and other things. And I've heard that over and over. The more you keep active and interested in different things, the younger you feel and all of that. I'm thinking dogs, it might be a little bit similar. Is that true?
Totally. We are working together with veterinarians and dog psychologists, and this is what they're telling us, that half the dogs in the country is understimulated, and if we don't stimulate them, we sometimes get some of these behaviors out which maybe we would like to prevent, and we can do that by activating them and mentally challenging them with a game like this and keep them healthier. And that is basically because the dogs, they want to be like us. They want to copy us. Everybody knows that dogs are extremely faithful to their owners and doing so they are following us. And if we are walking around inside the house, they lie down and relax, and it's not all the time the ideal for them. It is actually good to get them exhausted a little bit, and you can exhaust them mentally with this, particularly in the winter when it's cold and you don't all the time want to get outside.
Fantastic. Now, where can people listening find the Kruuse Buster Activity Mat?
Okay, our products are available at some of the large online retailers such as barkshop.com, In the Company of Dogs, Sky Mall, JJ Dog Supplies, or Amazon.com. You can also ask your local pet shop or veterinarian if they have it. They might not have it, but they would have access to it from the suppliers. We supply the suppliers of the pet shops and the veterinarians. So if people want to see it first, they can maybe request it from their pet shop or their veterinarian as well.
Okay, and you mentioned there's some videos and so forth on YouTube, and do you also have a website people can go to?
Yes, I mean, we have our mother company's website back in Denmark is Kruuse, KRUUSE.com, or we've also made an American website, which is Kruuse247.com. Kruuse, maybe I should just spell it out because it's KRUUSE. 247.com. So if they go in there, they can also contact us via that channel. We'll make sure to help people out.
Okay, perfect. The activity mat sounds like a great idea, but it seems like it even has a benefit for family members as well. It seems like, you can get it more involved in your dog's play versus just throwing a toy. How is your experience with that? What have you heard from people that have used the activity mat?
Well, I mean, this is probably the thing that people like the most about the activity mat, that pet parents and the children of the family can play with the dog. I mean, this is an interactive toy, which is strengthening the bond between parent and dog, which is really good because we don't just give the dog a BUSTER cube and it rolls it around and plays with it and we're watching it. No, here we're down on the floor with the dog, giving them instructions, guiding them, slowing them down when they get overexcited. And one thing I must stress, it is also important, this is not a play alone toy, so it is important that the pet parent or the child is together with the dog all the time when they're doing this, and we do recommend they only play 15 minutes at a time. Then the dog would have exhausted the amount of energy that it would have for that session. Then maybe you can do that twice a day or something like that, but that's what we recommend. But this is really what we find exciting about this thing here, and what people find exciting, what they're telling us all the time. This is so cool, I can now really play with my dog.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets and telling us all about the BUSTER Activity Mat. It's actually a great gift for, I think, the pet parent and the pet. What a great item to have, and what a great way to stimulate your fur baby. So thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets.
Thanks for inviting us, Michelle.
I'd like to thank my guest, Lars, for coming on Best Bets for Pets. He did a great job explaining the activity mat. And for everybody listening, this is really cool. I mean, Mr. Z does not like to play with balls or anything, but he really got into it. And he doesn't like for me to tell people his age, but let's just say he's past 10 years old in regular years, so he's kind of a senior dog, and he had a lot of fun. As always, you can find out more about this segment. Go to the episode and there'll be information on this segment, a picture of the product, and a link to the website. I'd like to thank Nikki and Mr. Z for testing this product. They had a lot of fun. The dentist tried to get into it, but he's a cat, so this isn't really for cats. And I'd like to thank my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound great. And for everybody listening, keep listening. There's a lot of great products to come.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.